Hey everyone, it's Jono here. So today's topic, the importance of showing up. And there's a saying that goes 80% of success in life is just showing up. Now, this is something that I was always intrigued about. So many people go, oh, you just need to keep showing up. You just keep showing up, you need to keep appearing, you need to be everywhere, and then you'll achieve success. Now, does that really mean you achieve success if you just keep showing up, whatever that means to you, or whatever that means for you, right? And there's always something that's, I would say, I was always been curious about how well does showing up and how much it means to people to keep showing up to achieve success, whatever success means to you, right? That's one key thing was people go, oh, you just keep showing up and you achieved your success and all those things, and you'll be able to reach your fullest potential by showing up. But what if you just keep showing up but you don't actually take any action, right? You don't do anything but you just keep showing up. You just keep appearing, you keep attending gatherings, events, things like that. You keep showing up, right? I'm showing up, I'm there, I'm learning. And that's one thing that a lot of people that I've seen in the personal development space, especially, you see the same faces event after event. You see very similar faces. One after each event, you still see the same faces. And you ask them, what are you up to? And they're like, I'm attending this seminar or this training, and I'm looking to attend this next training and the next training and the next training and the next training and next thing. And you ask them, what are they doing with everything they're learning? And it's like, I'm learning, that's it. And they're not moving forwards. They're not implementing what they learnt. They're not moving forwards with what they're creating. And I'm not saying learning is a bad thing, by the way. Learning is a great thing. I mean, I spent years learning, and now that, and what I had I known more about my own inner resistance about not taking action, I suppose I would have been able to create more. If I just created and implemented as I learned things, I suppose it would be much faster than just consume everything and then implement afterwards, because you'll forget half of the things you learned way beforehand. So implement as you go and show up. Those are the key things that I would say is to create your own success or to fulfill your own potential, whatever that means, is you need to implement everything you learn. There's so many things that constantly I'm picking up new books, but am I really implementing the golden nuggets, the strategies, and the golden nuggets that they show up? They keep talking about. If I don't implement anything from the book, then what's the use of listening or reading the book? For those that listen to audiobooks and reading books, is like, if you don't implement anything out of it, what good is it with that knowledge, right? People say knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Well, what good is knowledge is power if you're not using the knowledge or applying the knowledge to become power? And that's always something that I find fascinating, especially with our own inner resistance that we're not aware of. Is I went on just a coaching call last night. Last night or the other day with Manny Wolf. And through that call, I was able to realize and find out my inner resistance. My inner resistance was to be visible and to be seen. That was a huge awareness breakthrough for me, because I knew that I was afraid to be seen. I knew that my belief, or one of my core beliefs, is that I'm not capable to show up or to keep doing what I'm doing. And these are the things that were holding me back from showing up, creating more content, posting more, social media, showing up more, stepping up, and staying up, right? I talk about these and I have to live through these. And even now, I still have inner resistance in showing up, being more visible, to keep doing what I'm doing. It's funny, right? It's like, well, you need to get your things together, right? You need to get your priorities correct. And it's like, well, everyone shows up differently. Everyone has a different structure. And I could keep creating content, but if I'm creating the wrong content, then I'm not able to serve more. And I'm not also able to serve my audience, you that's watching, more, because I'd be giving you content that's not going to be useful or helpful to you. And I always aim to give value, to help someone solve a problem. And if I don't do those in my content, then it's pretty useless creating that content. So I have to make sure that I'm creating the right content and I'm showing up the right way. It's something that I would say is creating the structures to keep showing up. For speaking, you have to keep practicing. You have to keep practicing your craft. You have to keep practicing writing your speech. You have to keep practicing speaking. You have to practice communicating. And in order to do that, you have to continuously practice. And so having a structure to keep practicing, for me at Toastmasters, is one way of practicing my speaking, practicing my workshops, practicing my training, doing my own webinars, my own digital workshops. Those are the things that I use to keep me accountable, to keep practicing my speaking and my deliverability, right? I have to keep practicing those. It's the same if you was to lose weight, or if you're building muscle, if you're building bodybuilding. You have to keep training, you have to eat right, you have to have a structure, you have to measure, you have to track and measure. Same with online business. If you're running an online business, you need to track your visits, your conversions, your click-throughs, your opens, your engagement rate, and your clients, right? You have to keep tracking. Even with online businesses, running online business, you have to have online reporting, how many people are opening your emails, how many people are engaging with your content, how many are working with you or interested in working with you. You got to know that pipeline. You got to know your marketing. You got to know your sales. You got to know your business. Right? It's the same thing. Showing up. Yes, you can keep showing up every day. That's great. That's amazing. But make sure you don't burn out. You have to keep showing up the right way. You have to eat right. You have to look after yourself. And running a business is like an athlete. It's so intense running a business. Whether you're running an online or offline business, doesn't matter. It's a high performance game, and you got to treat yourself like an athlete. You got to treat yourself like how you want the business to show up. If you want the business to run well, you would have to run well. Your mind, body, and spirit needs to be aligned. And there's so many things that if you want your business to be slick, smooth, and high performing and generating loads of money, whatever it is that you're doing or making a lot of difference, you got to look after yourself. And I always talk about this. All leaders would have to look after themselves. If you can't look after yourself first, you can't look after other people. And that is just one of the most crucial elements in any business, entrepreneurship, team management, life, relationships, all sorts, right? You want to look after your partner? Look after yourself first. Same thing. If you're ill, you won't be able to look after your partner. So you got to make sure you're looking after yourself. And which is why health is such a a big thing for me. And drinking is like not part of my agenda. It doesn't serve me. Alcohol doesn't serve me, so therefore I don't drink. I only stick with tea and water, right, or green tea. So those are kind of things that you're gonna look after. And what does showing up actually mean for you? That's one thing that most people don't define. I mean, you could keep showing up to work because you get paid, right? You show up 9 to 5 in the office, you get paid for your 9 to 5. If you stay in the office after 5, you don't really get much. You may or may not get recognition depending on where you're working, or if your boss or management or leader looks and are aware of the way you're doing overtime, you're putting extra effort, you're putting the extra groundwork, those kind of things, right? Then, yes, fair enough, you can stay. I mean, this is something that happens in Asia, right? Where you're those people who would do more hours than it is in their contract. I mean, there's people that stay after 5 till 9, 10 o'clock at night and then go home till 11 and then show up way early the next day as well. And so, there's so many different things, different ways that you keep showing up for your family, showing up for your partner, showing up for your friends, showing up for your own goals or visions that you have for yourself. How do you keep showing up for your goals and visions and things that you want to achieve in your life? Right? And there's so many different things that we need to be aware of when it does come by showing up, being present, living in the moment, having a mobile away from you when you're talking to your partner, disconnecting from the mobile when you're talking to your friends, not looking at your phones when you're with your friends, right? Being present, that's a lot of that has gone missing through this time, especially with this new age of technology, right? We're so connected to the world through one device. We're so disconnected with other people around us. When we're having dinner, right? All our friends on the phones. It's like, well, are we here to social or are we here to play on our phones? Right? I mean, now and then you can take the mobile out, take some photos of the food and stuff like that. But once you're done, put it away. Be connected, staying present with the people that you're with. And that's so important as leaders nowadays, is that we are so distracted that we're not present. People always say, oh, I want to become a better manager, a better leader. I want to help support my team more, be more present. Stop looking at your mobile phone when you're talking to your team. Have all devices off when you're speaking to your team. Put your monitor to sleep when you're talking to your team. When someone comes to your desk and asks you for a question, turn your display off. Be present. Turn around. Look at them in the eyes. How can I help? Be present. And those are the little things that make the difference, or whether you're connected with your team or the people that you're with. Look them in the eyes when you're talking to them. Be present. Take away and disconnect those digital things that are in the way. It's so easy to be distracted by those things. And focus on the process, right? The process of being present. There's so many times where we want to have the end result. We want to create the end result. There's something we want to achieve. There's a goal we want to get to. But enjoy the process as well, right? Enjoy the process as well as the outcome that you want to get. Sometimes people learn to fall in love with the process, right? We hear this time and time again, is learn to fall in love with the process and disconnect yourself from the outcome and the end result. Because half the time when we get the end result, we're like, is that it? After chasing all that time, is that it? What's, like you get your goal, right? People go, oh, I want this car. It only takes however long to save up and buy a car. But when you transfer the money, you get the car and you get the car keys, and you're like, this is it. I now have the car keys to the car that I want. And after that, it's empty, right? I mean, I remember when I first got my dream car, which was the Honda Integra DC5. Beautiful sports car. I loved it to bits. But once I got it, I would say probably a few months, 2 or 3 months. After that, it was... I still loved the car, but I just felt less driven and fulfilled than I did prior to chasing the car. The build up to saving it, getting the money and saving up for the car and finding the right car was the part that was the most fun. Booking visits to see the car with my mates, checking over the car, the journey, driving towards that destination to see the car. That was more fun than me picking up the keys to the car. So once you achieve your goal, sometimes it's like, oh, is that it? Same with when I hit my weight loss goal, when I wanted to hit 85 kilograms, dropped all that weight off myself. I hit it. And I was like, okay, was that it? When I felt good, looked fairly decent, I would say. And then I was like, is that it? But it was the journey that I enjoyed more. Again, doing the exercises, the grind work, the hard work, and the process, being accountable week in, week out. And that's when you start realizing, oh, wow, the process is much more important than it is the outcome. And there's loads of realizations that I've had along the way. And I've just been reflecting all these moments that I've created over the years. And so performance is one thing. I always find performance interesting because we could be more productive. We could do block hours. We could talk about being focused on the task. I mean, when I'm doing cardio, I'm so bored out of my mind for that hour or so. I was just like, oh, feels like forever, right? But it's what I do during that process. I'm listening to an audiobook, I'm listening to music, or whatever it is. I'm making use of that time, right? I know that hours making time for me to become a better performer in work, in my focus, in clarity, in my thinking, when I'm working, when I'm serving, when I'm able to provide help to people. I know that if I'm able to look after myself better, I'm able to serve better at the same time. So therefore, health is a big thing for me, right? I'll always take in consideration of my health and my well-being, because I know if I'm not 100%, I'm not able to give my clients 110%. Right? I need to give more. I need to be more in order to give more. And so that's one thing. When you're leading, when you're showing up, how much commitment are you up for showing up to the people around you? Are you serving your clients? How are you showing up to your friends, your family? Are you giving it your best, or are you just meh? It will do, half-assed, and not having the right attitude, right? Attitude is another thing. Like, this was a big thing. I had a big telling off by myself. I had a word with myself that I wasn't committed enough to my business and to what I'm doing and to my clients. I had a huge telling off that I wasn't showing up enough for my clients. I wasn't. I was being hard on myself, and there's a reason for that. And it's because I know that if I'm able to switch my attitude up and step up, again, having the right attitude to step up for my clients means I have to take up looking after myself well, also means not talking badly of myself and giving myself the right self-love, self-care, and knowing that I need to put myself as the client. If I was my client, how would I want to make him or she feel? How would I want to make them? How could I serve them better? How can I help them better? How can I solve their problems more? How efficient? How much more efficient can I be in their lives to become the solution? Right? I had to. So I had to put myself in the position of my clients, and I would say, if I was your client, what would I do? How can I serve you better? How can I give you more assurance, more certainty, more confidence, more empowerment, more inspiration? Those are the things that I keep asking, right? I keep asking that question. How can I do better? How can I serve you better? So it's just interesting, right? When you keep showing up and you have the right structures in place, the right opportunities show up, people keep asking you to help out more, to contribute or to support, and doors open, right? When you keep showing up, and that's always something that's interesting. Yes, showing up is important, but also taking action and doing something with action, right? So when people invite you to do something, to support, to create, whatever it is, if you can in your time, and if you can't, try and make time, right? So I know Richard Branson always says, say yes and then find out how afterwards. And I know that philosophy doesn't work for all scenarios, of course, but as much as you can. Sometimes it's saying no as well, right? And just knowing if it's not in your lane, not part of what you're doing, doesn't really support or align with who you are and what you do, fair enough, say no. Simple as that. But you got to know yourself what's important to you first. You got to know, very, very importantly, does it align with my values? Does it align with my goals? Does it align with my vision? Does it contribute towards my goals and my visions and my values and my business, right? Does it help? Does it support? And you got to be careful, and you got to know all this. And this is where the self-awareness, nor knowing thyself, comes into, right? Knowing, hey Jamie, good to see you. Knowing that you've got what it is you want to achieve, right? Set it out clear before you even go in business. And I know loads of people that I've worked with always say, surely you need to know who you're serving before you go into business. Same as if you was to deliver a product, a service, you got to know your target audience. Otherwise, you won't be able to create the content, give them the right solutions, help them the right way, and all of that. And this is where I kept doing things backwards as well. Even my mistakes, I've been making those mistakes, but I'm learning along the way, and I'm just changing them up. Because I've had two types of audiences that I've always wanted to work with, or actually even just two different skill sets that I had to offer. One was digital marketing, and one was leadership. I have a huge passion in helping people create better leaders, become more effective leaders, become more influential leaders, being more inspiring leaders. Leadership just lights a fire in me, right? Talk about leadership. That's why I've combined the two now. I've been greedy. I've combined digital marketing and leadership. So I call it digital leadership. But a leader in this day and age is digital leadership in this day and age is being able to leverage the digital tools, the systems and automations and processes that can help you inspire more, influence more, and create more impact. That is what the digital tools are here to do. And that's, as a leader, you need to be more effective with how you're using your digital leadership strategy, how you keep showing up in every different platforms that you're on, for your audience. There's so many more things that you could do, right? But understanding that tools, digital leadership and digital tools, right? They come and go. There's always new softwares, there's always new systems, but you got to find the ones that work for you and serve you and your business. And also how you use them as well. Do you go using paid ads? Do you use SEO? Do you use affiliate marketing? Do you use email marketing? Do you use direct advertising? Do you use radio, podcast, all sorts, right? There's so many different blog posts, guest posting, becoming an expert in someone's group, blah, 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 blah. So many different strategies nowadays, but you got to find one that fits yours and fit you and be able to help you and your audience. It's always, great to keep showing up and create those opportunities. And then building new habits, right? Building habits that support you. And that's one thing that I've been working on as well, is creating habits. Hitting the gym, eating the right foods. Those are habits. Practicing speaking, coming on live like this, and just keep practicing my talk, my content, be able to offer value and solutions, and hopefully someone will pick this up and find it useful. All right, it's always something that I've got to create, and creating fulfillment is my fulfillment is able to create these type of content and able to help someone or change someone's perspective, be more aware, be more observant, being more alert, being more open, being more kind. Kindness is going, right? Kindness is disappearing. I made a post the other day. Kindness is such a undervalued leadership skill because so many people nowadays are not being kind to themselves. They're not being even kind to their neighbors. They can't because the government says so, right? Grass on your neighbors if they are having more than whatever's allocated people in your party or whatever it is. Not going to go into that. But being more kind to yourself, stop beating yourself up. Be grateful for what you have, because for you, if you are watching this and you are able to watch this, you are much more blessed than what I heard in a podcast that I was editing earlier. Was there's over 1 million children that's under 18 that are living on the streets right now that has no family or friend support. And these are kids that have no sort of education, support, love, care, attention, access to internet, access to phones, access to a roof over their heads, access to clean food and water. These are kids living on the streets in 2020. And this one was one that pulled my heart. Like, in 2020, we still have kids wandering around on the streets that don't have family or friends supporting them because of no fault to their own, right? Yes, their parents probably had other issues and other troubles and struggles and challenges that's unable to help and support them. So therefore, these kids have to enter the life of the streets where they have no friends, no family, no support, and figure out things or figure out life on their own, have no choices of their own just to survive. They're in survival mode. They don't have open choices, open education to learn these things, learn manners, learn care, attention, love, compassion, empathy. They don't probably have any of those, living on the streets for so long. And that breaks my heart, really does. And it just reminds me of how much more gratitude I need to show up for myself, for my life, for what I have, and the ability and access that I'm able to create through my content, through the speeches that I make, through the talks that I make, for the lives that I'm showing up for, to make a little bit more difference, just to open up people's perspective, their eyes, their minds, their body and spirit. Whatever it is, right? I'm constantly working on how I could create a more impactful life than living a 9-to-5 non-fulfilled job role, right? And so my question to you would be is, what does showing up mean for you? Showing up for me is be able to create content like this to inspire, influence, and impact people's lives. That's the three things that I live by. Those are the three things that I constantly create. And I'm always wanting to help others change, right? That's something that I've always been interested, had the passion for, helping people break through, whatever beliefs and systems and things that are holding them back, helping them realize what's holding them back. And all of these things are similar to just things that I went through in my journey. What's holding me back? What am I being held back by? What's stopping me? Where am I stuck? And it's easy to be stuck nowadays, right? There's so many projects and tasks and things and opportunities and shiny objects that we could get involved in. It's like, where do I start? Where do I create? What am I doing next? And that's mapping out your life. That's one thing that I'm doing next, is mapping out my life, is finding out what do I want to create and the process that I'm going to take to do it, and where am I going to take it. It's simple. I say simple but not easy, right? Simple but not easy. Otherwise everyone else would be doing it. But you got to put these plans in place. You're going to define what it means that showing up means for you and who you're showing up for, and what does success mean to you. That's a huge one. I'm constantly reminded of this one, success. I kept thinking success was being financially free. And what does actually financially free mean? And what does it actually get me? Right. It's nice to be financially free, of course. But once you get there, what next? Right? What are you going to create next after you get there? Are you going to just keep building another business? Are you going to invest more? Are you going to retire? Are you going to stop working? Those are all important questions to ask. So I thought I'd just come on and share my point of view about what 80% of success in life is just showing up really means to me. And hopefully this will help someone who's watching. And thank you all for tuning in and watching, and the comments. If you're watching this on replay, #replay, so I know you watch it and you got something out of this. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.